loves, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about what your voice reveals about you. And this is a hugely interesting topic to me, massively interesting topic, because this is all about the notes of your voice and how they correlate to different chakras and which ones that you have active, because the more that you speak in a certain note, that will be your most dominant chakra. Or maybe you're someone who speaks in a lot of different notes, and then you're going to have a lot of different dominant chakras that come out. You're very expressive in different ways, or maybe you even just have like one note that you speak in and you're very monotone, and this means something for you guys as well. So depending on this, you can actually reveal a lot about yourself, which areas of yourself that you have unlocked, which areas are very expressive for you, which are very activated and dominant, and which areas are more shut down and closed off. So this does reveal a lot about you. It is a very fun topic to explore, and it's definitely fun for me because I used to be an audio engineer and I was like really intrigued by frequencies and resonant frequencies, and different frequencies do resonate at different areas of the body, which I correlate this to being the chakras essentially, because the chakras are essentially different energy centers in the body, and based on this, they resonate at certain frequencies, they resonate with certain organs. And this is why whenever that you feel an emotion, you can feel it in a different part of your body. Like certain emotions definitely come out through the heart, and you're like, oh, my heart aches, or you know, my heart gets butterflies, or sometimes we get butterflies or whatever, or different feelings in our stomach. And this can mean something as well, like something can make you sick to your stomach, or something can give you butterflies in your stomach or in your heart. Or sometimes you get a gut feeling about something. Sometimes you can feel something in your throat. You could get choked up about something, whether it's happy or sad. Sometimes we can just feel certain emotions in certain areas, as well as your head, all sorts of different areas. Okay, so this is because of resonant frequencies, and certain emotions have resonant frequencies, and this reveals a lot about who you are and what's going on internally for you, depending on the notes that you speak, because your voice obviously has a frequency, and depending if you have a very dynamic frequency or a very monotone frequency, this is going to reveal a lot. So talking about if you guys have a very monotone frequency, this means that you probably speak at maybe 1 or 2, 3 notes max, and then that's basically all that you reach, right? And then some people have a very dynamic range that they speak in, a very dynamic range of notes. And what this means is that you guys are very open, very expressive. There's lots of different active points in you emotionally that you're able to bring out and able to express. When you have certain things shut down, this means that you don't have that part very activated, and you are not really, it's kind of closed off. There's more of a block in that area, which is undoable. You're not bound by this, okay? You guys can change anything at any time, and depending on your emotions and your mood that day, you might notice that your voice changes. And so when you're sad, normally your voice goes a little bit lower, and it might only be very monotone, right? Because when people are more shut down, they get very monotone. When people are very happy, they get very expressive, and they get all sorts of dynamic range in their voice and things like that. So this video is to show you what different notes correlate with different things and what they reveal about you. So first off, how do you read the notes of your voice, right? Like, how do you tell what notes that you speak in? So I personally like to download guitar tuner apps onto my phone, and I have used a plethora of different ones. I'll have the name of the one that I use linked down below, but essentially I use a guitar tuner, and I just speak about certain things and see where the notes land on the scale and what notes I'm speaking most predominantly in. And also, one thing that you guys should know is that when you speak about certain subjects, you'll notice that your voice changes. So if you're speaking about like a loss, you might speak in a note that talks about like your heart chakra, or just an area of your body where you might actually end up feeling that emotion most predominantly. Or if you're speaking about like career stuff, you might notice that that's located more in your lower chakras, like your root. It means all different things depending on the subject that you're talking about, because a lot of people change the notes of their voice and the tone of their voice when they're talking about something that makes them happy versus something that makes them sad, right? And so this can reveal a lot about that certain topic and about who you are, and it will reveal more about you. So essentially what you want to do is sit down, take out that guitar tuner app, and you're going to want to talk about different things, okay? So what I personally like to do, just because of the sheer fact that at least I'm someone that when I can see the notes moving on the scale while I'm talking, sometimes I get distracted and I end up fluctuating my voice out of its natural range because I'm like looking at where it's at, and sometimes I'm just like, oh, I want to try to make it this note or that note or whatever. So what you guys want to do is, what I do is I'll either record myself on a separate device and then play it back, and then map out which notes I was speaking in, and I just try to keep it as natural as possible. Or you guys can get a friend that will do this for you and then write down what notes that you're speaking while you're speaking to them. So these are two different ways that you can do this. And so with that being said, let's get right into all the different notes and what they mean. I love how when I do that transition in talking videos, I'm just sitting in the exact same place right after doing my transition. It's like nothing changed, we're still here. But anyway, the first chakra is the root chakra, which is the note of C. So if you notice that you talk a lot with the note of C, you're probably somebody who's very goal-driven, goal-oriented. You're probably somebody who's highly motivated, and you want to attain things. And so this comes out when someone is very root chakra oriented. So they're all about their safety, their security, their home life. They want their home life to be really good, and they want to attain a lot of goals. A lot of material sort of things are probably within their realm of consciousness. So you're probably somebody who thinks a lot about material things and the things that you want to own that give you a sense of security, and the things that you want to conquer and things like that. If you have a lack of C in your voice, you notice that you're not really talking with C a lot, you might be somebody who doesn't really know what they want in life. You're probably still unsure about where you want to head in life. You're probably someone who doesn't have the most secure job or financial state, because the root chakra is all about our motivation for money, our attainment of money and success, right? And so if you have a lack of this, it's probably that you maybe don't have a full picture of what you want to do, and so there might be this confusing state of lack of motivation because you're not really sure what direction you want to go in anyway. And so when you have a lack of C, that is what it represents. And if you have a lot of C, it's just because you're very focused on those things in that moment. And so that is what the root chakra is. And then the next chakra is the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is the note of D, so this resonates with the note of D on the musical scale. And the sacral chakra is all about relationships, sexual energy, creative energy, but in that sort of sense. And so this is representative of people who speak in this tone, people that love to be in relationships, people that love human connection. They probably love to go out, and they're probably sociable. They enjoy socializing and meeting new people, and they just really enjoy that sort of area and that sort of presence. And they probably are somebody who's very relationship oriented. They enjoy to be in relationships and things like that. If you have a lack of D in your voice, this could mean that you're somebody who is a lot more introverted, somebody who likes to stay at home a lot, and you're probably somebody who just doesn't really like social conversation as much as somebody who has that chakra very opened and that note very present in their voice. The next chakra is the solar plexus, and this is the note of E. And the solar plexus is our outward creativity. This is our outwards expression of creativity. So these people, if you guys have a lot of E in your voice, this would mean that you are someone who's very expressive about your talents. You're probably somebody who readily talks about and puts out, the projects that you're working on and the creative endeavors that you're working on. You're probably someone who loves to just perform them and put them out there and speak about them and let people know about them and be like, hey guys, this is what I did, this is this. And it is also the center of our masculine and feminine energy, which every single human has a balance of masculine and feminine energy. This is also where we get our outwards persona of wanting to really express that. So this is also where we get our body language from and things like that. So you're probably somebody who maybe talks a lot with your body and you move a lot with your body. And this is also people that like to really make themselves seen. It's our outwards expression of our creativity, right? So you're probably somebody who's like, oh, I want to do my makeup and hair and I want to look good, because this is all about attracting the other, our mate or our partner or whatever. This is an area where we do that because it's our masculine feminine energy. So it also deals with our puberty and things like that. So yes, that is that chakra. And if you have a lack of E in your voice, it could mean that you're somebody who's very introverted. And it could also mean that you're someone who isn't very expressive about what you're doing. You might be somebody who's a bit shy and doesn't want to express what it is that you've been working on. You'd rather focus on what other people are doing rather than speaking about what you are doing and expressing what you're doing. Or you could even be somebody who has your creative juices maybe not in the flow right now. So that is when you have a lack of E in your voice. Is a little bit more when you are internal and less expressive and maybe a little bit less creative, or you're feeling like you're just a little bit down in the moment and you're just not feeling those creative juices flowing as normal. The next chakra is the heart chakra, which is the note of F. If you guys have this one very activated, you are probably highly empathic. You feel emotions off of people when they walk into the room, and you also feel your own emotions very in depth as well. Heart chakra people are very aware of emotions of other people. They're very aware of their own emotions, and they're somebody who can feel so deeply and so quickly, like you understand other people and you just feel love for all of them, and you're just like, I just feel a lot of things for a lot of people, and you feel things very deeply internally as well. If you guys have a lack of F in your voice, this would mean that you're somebody who might be shut down to other people, or it could mean that you're just experiencing a lot of hurt in that moment and you feel a little bit more shut down and closed off. It could mean that you are blocking off your heart because you're scared of having that vulnerable connection and you're too afraid to be very vulnerable. And so this is when you don't have a lot of F in your voice. The next chakra is the throat chakra, which is the note of G. If you have a lot of G activated in your voice, you're probably somebody who loves to speak, you love to listen, you love to learn. This is all about communicative energy and like being really like a bookworm. You want to know more. You probably are somebody who wants to know more about other people, other things. And when different opportunities come up to learn new things, you're probably someone who's like, yes, information, I want to know. It might be someone who goes on like late night YouTube binges, binging any sort of random facts that you can get. You're probably somebody who has a plethora of random facts. And I know for myself, at least in my history, I've spoken a lot in G personally, and I'm someone who's like all about learning. Like I want to listen to you, I want to speak, I want to talk about this, I want to go on like, I want to know all the facts. I want to have all the books, and I have a lot of books. So I'm someone who most of the time speaks in a lot of G notes, and I know that's very like, it resonates with me a lot. If you are somebody who does not speak with a lot of G notes, you are probably somebody who might be turned off from communication. You'd rather not speak about a lot of things, or you might be somebody who might be a bad listener as well, or you just don't have that throat chakra activated, and that throat chakra is all about like learning and communication. So that might be an area that is blocked off at the moment for you if you do not speak with a lot of that G sort of tone in your voice and that note. The next chakra is the third eye chakra, which is the note of A. If you guys have a lot of A in your voice, you're probably somebody who's highly psychic. This is high intuition, somebody who really can feel things in a room. They feel energies very easily. They get visions of certain things. This can also be where you get visions for creative outlets that just happen out of the blue. So if you are like somebody who is highly creative, if you get your ideas out of nowhere. I was going to use like a bad expression for that, but if you get them out of BF nowhere, you are probably somebody who is just very creative in that sense. You get like downloads from the ethers of creativity, and when you're with people, when you're in a room with people, you can probably feel things from them without them even telling you, and you probably can feel their deeper emotions without them even telling you. If you guys have a lack of A in your voice, you're probably somebody who has your third eye shut down, which is okay. There's quite a few people out there that do, but the third eye, if when you don't have that activated, you're probably somebody who's not as intuitive. You probably have a harder time feeling what other people are feeling. You just might have a hard time, and it's a confusing time to understand the deeper emotions of people. Whereas activated third eye people feel emotions very easily from people, and they can just feel lots of different things. They can probably guess the life story that somebody's had up until now just from hearing their voice or something like that, right? Whereas if you don't have that turned on, you probably have to really engage and question people to find out more about them rather than feeling it right off the bat. And then our last note is B, which is the crown chakra. And so this is the chakra that's located above the head. It's not actually, it doesn't have a physical place in our body, but it is above the head. And this one deals with being, having that detachment from the world, being able to really observe the world. This is a very high state of consciousness. So if you have a lot of B in your voice, you're probably somebody who might be very daydreamy. You're also somebody who explores very grand topics. You probably are somebody who understands very grand, large, big ideas, and you're probably somebody who just has a heightened level of consciousness where it's like the normal world problems don't affect you because it just seems so menial to you. And you're probably somebody who just explores lots of the bigger picture type of ideas and concepts. You're somebody who does not, you get bored with like small ideas and small concepts and like average everyday topics and concepts. You're someone who's like sort of above that. It doesn't mean that you're better or worse than anyone else if you have this chakra activated or not. It doesn't make you any higher or lower. It's just a different level of consciousness. It's a different experience entirely. So yes, that is what the B chakra is. If you do have this chakra unactivated, if it's not really showing up in your voice very much and you don't have the note of B in your voice, this would mean that you're somebody who probably gets attached to things very easily. You are somebody who gets like you're very worldly, right? And so if you do not have that chakra activated, you're somebody who notices a lot of like the real world physical things that are going on. The things that are going on in your life are more, they affect you a lot more. Whereas if you have this chakra activated, you're somebody who does not get affected by like average everyday things. You're somebody who's very detached from that kind of stuff because you understand the bigger picture. But then again, if you're somebody who doesn't have that activated, you are somebody who does get very, triggered by like quick things that are going on in the world and like all those different things, rather than looking at it from the very large picture. It's a bit more condensed and small picturesque, which there's no wrong between either of them. It's just different experiences of the same whole, right? So those are all the different chakras and their different notes and the short descriptions of what they mean if you have them activated versus not activated. So go get a guitar tuner app, go check out what your voice speaks at, and then go and map out which ones that you speak in a lot of and which ones you maybe don't speak in, and see if this resonates with you. See if this is accurate for you and describes a little bit more about your personality and things like that. And let me know in the comment box down below if this is something that resonated with you, if it's something that worked for you. I know it's definitely worked for me quite a lot in the past, so it's just a super interesting topic. By the way, if you do get sharp or flat notes, those are the secondary chakras, and they can talk about the chakras that are in between there. For example, like the higher heart chakra would be a F sharp, for example, or like a G flat, because a G flat and an F sharp are actually the same note, technically speaking, depending on which scale that you're on, but it is like the same frequency, the same note. So that would be the higher heart chakra, which talks a little bit more about the heart chakra and the expression of love, since it's between the throat and the heart. So this is the way that we express love, the way that we speak about it, and the way that we also receive love, and the way that it goes down and filters through into our heart chakra. So the sharp and flat notes are basically can indicate the in-between parts of the chakras. So if it's a flat note, you would go a half a step down from that chakra, and there's a secondary chakra that would be located over there that deals with the matters in between those two chakras in question. So that is what that is if you guys get sharp or flat notes. But if you don't want to go into sharp or flat notes, you can just go to whatever chakra that it is talking about. So for example, if you get like a C sharp or something like that, you can just bring it down and take the root note, which is C, and it'll still kind of resonate the same and at least have like similar effects. Okay, so that is what that is. Hope you guys have fun doing this video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you do, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, and if so, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. If you notice that you have a lack of D in your life, of course D is associated with relationships. Oh my goodness. If you have a lack of D in your life, it might mean that you do not have a relationship, or that you're just not relationship focused right now. I just made that connection.